So I think we may start because it's already 12:15 for our last session. Unfortunately, my colleague has lost her voice, so she can't speak up. So that I thought I would follow the yesterday topic. And I would like to talk about visual cultures today. I will be introducing to you a little bit about my country as we are closing today, just to map it somewhere. Then I will talk about visual culture and visual literacy and some history of visuals, and hopefully you are aware of the term anachronism that I like a lot, and conclusions. So let me introduce you my country. You've seen us all 1 week, 2 weeks in a row. You probably know where Romania is on the map, and it is considered to be the largest country in Balkans. And it has a dramatic mountain scenery and coastline. So if you ever looking for new destinations for your holiday, you should know that there are mountains, and there is the Black Sea as well. Historically speaking, we would say that there are evidence, historical and archaeological, linguistic as well, that confirm that the area of present Romania had a fully developed society of Dacian tribes long before the Roman armies crossed our territories. Therefore, though Roman influence was profound and created a civilization that speaks the Latin language to our days, Roman language, it also built its own identity. The region of Romania has spent much of its history being shunted between various foreign powers. The Romans, Goths, Huns, Bulgars, Slavs all laid claim to this area before it was annexed by the Turkish Ottomans in the 15th century. It wasn't until 1878 that Romania was recognized by the rest of Europe as an independent state. After World War II, Romania got separated from the rest of Europe in the Eastern Bloc, and it was followed by 50 years of communist era. Nowadays, Romania is a European Union member state and also a partner in NATO. And these are Eurostat figures about Romania. And I picked up some images, some sites that are worth being visited. The Palace Castle, which we are very proud of. Okay. The House of People, or the Parliament building, whatever you call it, it's included in Guinness World Records for the largest administrative building for civil use. And they say that it is on the third position worldwide from the volume point of view. And they also say that you can see it from the moon. No one actually went there to prove it, but this is how it goes. This castle is somewhere in the western part of Romania, and it belonged to Corvin family. It is absolutely marvelous. And this is our university, so you can put an image to the name that you've already learned. So getting to the point of my presentation today, visual culture and ways that we can study and think about it. I've selected some memes because our world is very much related to all of those pictures. And even if we think that this is a very modern approach, we should know that it is a very, very old human habit. So it goes back to our beginnings and to drawings in caves, and the idea is to understand that human beings always felt the necessity of communicating, and they've done this through pictures all the way, and from cave walls to computer screens and all points in between, we are exposed to billboards, photographs, TV, video, maps, covers, posters, call it whatever you want. Our daily life is accompanied all the way with pictures. And here are some photographs with what visual arts represented back in time. This is probably one of the oldest cave paintings, some are located in Bulgaria. And this one you probably know. It is always mentioned when talking about the history of visual arts, these hands from Argentina cave. These are some cows and ceremonial robes. So back in time, people would draw paintings or just to give some ideas of their daily routine, or what they did and how they cherished their animals. And this is to understand what life was back then. Even after the invention of writing, man continued to tell stories through paintings. And this is an Egyptian temple with many fresks that tell historical events, or the great mosaic about Alexander and his adventures. In the Christian monasteries and getting to Middle Ages, monks, couples devoted their lives to reproducing sacred text of their religion. Others embellished these unique editions by creating illuminations and illustrations. Without suspecting it, they invented most of the codes that allow designers today to give life to comics, cutting the story into boxes, movement, foreground, little dialogues. So when you think about memes today, and are almost sure that this is a very modern approach to expressing oneself, you should remember that before that we had comics, and before comics we had broderies, and before that we had cave paintings. Also, in the Middle Ages in Europe, we see the development of manuscript. The Catholic religion is a religion that relies heavily on images because many people could not read or write at that time. In the manuscripts, we find very beautiful illumination that can make us think of comics. And not only the monks invented those codes that are still used today to segment the text, segment the story. And it was also used in cinematography. Here's another example. And we are getting closer to nowadays. And I've chose this great wave of Kanagawa. And you know that Japanese culture has replicated in a way the comics or the French bande dessinée. And they also have this beautiful tradition of having books with pictures. So images, whether they are static or moving, are absolutely part of our life, and we need to learn how to interpret and to read them. This is why we are talking about visual literacy, meaning that interpreting and creating visual images and the way of communicating through those images with others. We can see that this visual literacy relies on a lot of fields. You may go round and circles and see, first of all, the first circle. Use images effectively, create visual media, use images ethically and cite visuals, define image need, find images, interpret and analyze images. And all of those topics have other important issues. So we are not talking only about the digital age and the common idea of sharing images and text. We also talk about intellectual property, about documentation, about censorship, if you think of cross-cultural exchanges, analyzing the picture in order to find the best one to use in a context. And here are 4 pictures and an asking cat. So it's a question to you all. Can you identify any of that images? Just unmute yourself and go ahead, answer. Do you recognize any of these pictures? Anyone? let's start with the left corner. You see like an urban and empty space. This is the border between Tijuana and San Diego. And it was very popular when President Trump wanted to build that wall. And it is very interesting to see on the right of the picture, the city of Tijuana and this empty space. So you can talk about huge population, empty space, this very clear vertical line. It may divide people. How about the image next to it? I think it's kind of iconic for Europe, recognizing the arch. And great. This is Les Champs-Élysées, l'Arc de Triomphe, and of course, the military parade for the National Day of France, July 14th. How about the image with the bridge?
I think it's about the September 11 attacks on the Twin Towers.
And you are right. This is probably the most circulated and famous image in the modern era. And it was a turn point for so many issues. And the last one represent a Romanian tradition to paint eggs for Easter. My point with these 4 images was to prove that we need a context and we need some knowledge, and we need more background to interpret and discuss some pictures. So I wasn't expecting you to recognize the last one because it is strictly related to Romanian culture.
But I think it's also part of the Eastern culture. For example, also in Poland, it is a tradition to paint eggs for Easter.
Yes, you are right.
Honorina, we have that in Italy as well. We paint
really?
eggs.
You paint eggs?
Not in that way. Not in that way. I know the Romanian paintings, but we do paint eggs. Okay. Because as the student was saying, it's a Catholic tradition of Easter, you know, Easter eggs and painting them.
Okay. Great. So I'll move on. So the idea of understanding an image thoroughly is that the viewer must understand visual culture examples. The viewer would need a context because it helps too if the viewer is aware of its hegemonic power or cultural hybridity and binary oppositions like you saw in the first image with the US and Mexico. So the context of an image explains the picture through hegemony, hybridity, and binary opposition. This is what we need to keep in mind. context is crucial to know the importance of an image. How an image relates to society and visual culture examples cannot be understood without the knowledge of that culture. Context is what turns pixels and dabs of paint into controversy and revolutions. How about this Oscar selfie? Do you remember it? Does anyone remember this selfie? It was taken during an Oscar ceremony. And the truth behind the picture is that it was an advertisement for a new telephone. And the thing that it fitted so many faces within a selfie wasn't known at that time. So images with the right context can be very political. Simple elements like color, line, shape, and even composition, cropping, and perspective can instigate entire worlds because of their context in the world. Thanks to context, images become pitfalls into the hallways of many cultures. Do you know something about the second image? Those men somewhere in the air? Does it say anything to you?
I don't know, is it correct, but I think they were operators.
Operators? I'm sorry, I lost you.
Can you hear me?
Workers.
My connection is off.
Yeah, probably poor. I can't hear you.
The girl meant workers, not operators, workers.
Yes, workers in New York constructing those skyscrapers. So it was kind of iconic for the 20, 30 years in US culture. They were having lunch. Do you know this image? What does it stand for? For many things, but you can name one.
Democracy.
Yes.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Yes. And you can go on and go on and go on. It
French
was
Revolution.
exactly.
Republic.
Yes. They abolished monarchy and they instituted the republic. And this Delacroix painting represents, like you very well said, democracy, freedom, and you of course know it in French, égalité, liberté, fraternité. How about this one? This is a very modern replicated image. And putting them together is to show you that more information you have, more you can understand nowadays pictures or memes, and you can connect them with the real idea. Thus, you can get the implicit message of an image and know for sure that it wasn't invented today. How about this one? What do you know about the movie Hotel Transylvania? Have you seen it? Have you seen the movie?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes, a lot.
What do you know about Transylvania? For so many years, Romanians complained about this stereotype, all the Dracula story, but it has been I would say, couple of years now that we actually embrace it, and we told ourselves, okay, it brings people to our country, it brings us money, let it be. We don't care. We won't explain you anymore that it isn't real. So hegemony in visual culture examples and individual influence, the way people decipher images. It's very important to have a context and to build upon some stereotypes. And we were talking about hybridity, and here are some examples of hybridity, and they are full of helpful clues for the viewer of the image. And you have different elements that you can connect with. This is mixing so many knowledges, and for instance, you can recognize some McDonald's or KFC, even if we are seeing them through blue china, but it rings a bell, and this is hybridity. And we were talking about binary opposition, and in this photo, it gives the viewer clues to its meaning. Images can reference black, or in this case, brown, white, the rich, the poor, women, men, young, and old. Binary opposition is two things that are similar but means completely different things. One defines the other, and one cannot exist without the other. And binary opposition was the main element on which the first image of US and Mexico border was based on. What about visual text? The basic definition of visual literacy is the ability to read, write, and create visual images. Both static and moving, it is a concept that relates to art and design, but it also has much wider applications. Visual literacy is about language, and we've seen it during the pragmatic lecture, how language may be used in those ads, communication and interaction. Visual media is a linguistic tool with which we communicate, exchange ideas, and navigate our highly visual digital world. And this term was first coined in '69 by John Debs, who was the founder of the International Visual Literacy Association. And there are some posters here as examples, and I'd like you to tell me which you recognized first, or to what poster you connect in a particular way. Anyone?
The third picture, it relates to Obama. We can do heat. No.
This is great. You know,
Okay.
this is mixing generations ideas.
Yes, I remember we can do heat. And the picture helps to image it. So probably I remember that forever with the picture.
Okay. We can do it. This is great. Megan Mogg, have you read it? Megan Mogg? Minecraft. Do we have boys in here? Doesn't ring any bell, Minecraft? Okay. So, Oriana, how about you? What this we can do it means to you?
Come on. It's quite interesting that they connected it to Obama.
Yes.
It's Obama who got it from. This is a poster of women fighting in the war. That is, they have a position, and during the war, women could do the jobs of men. We can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Jobs of men, and then after the war, they had to go back to their roles in the family. So we can do it. You go and fight in the war, and we're going to take all the jobs. This is what the poster is. The point is that it's Obama who said we can do it, but he knew his posters. I know this is a really iconic poster for women of the whole world, that women
Yes,
can do
that's
what
very
men.
interesting. It was connected to Obama, but then again, Michelle had such a great impact
Sure,
on.
also that's true. So if we want
Yes.
to build context, yes, when we speak of new jobs for women, new professions for women, it all started, if you want, with this poster. And during the war, the First World War, especially, in which women started taking the role of men in during the war, especially the Second World War.
So the student who said that it goes with Obama, have you seen it used by Obama, or you just recognize the text, we can do it?
I know that the Obama is yes we can, but I like the relation.
That's
okay. Good. Great. No one said anything about Titanic. Nothing, huh? Well, how about anachronism? And this goes back to the Middle Ages, to those copist monks that had this very general and free idea of translating text. They would remove parts that they wouldn't find interesting. They would add something new if they found any inspiration in that text. And because it was very difficult to translate, let's see, Greek society, they would come up with some analogies, and they would turn a Greek senator into a medieval monk. So they created a lot of anachronisms, meaning from the Greek, ana, up, against, back, and chronos, time, something that is used inappropriately. For example, you have here Marie Antoinette with a laptop during the filming. Or another example here. All of these examples are anachronic, so they are used in a very different times. This one would be the most difficult to guess, but the idea is that Braveheart spoke about a different period of time, 13th century, when there were no kilts. So I chose 3 different types of anachronism to show you that more specific knowledge you have about an idea, an image, like here, this historical period of time, more easily you can see some mistakes or misrepresentation.
Yes, anachronism in films could be another course, you know. See
Yes,
which sort of anachronism you find and why.
I teach a course about anachronism in medieval literature.
Oh,
so,
that's very good. It's very
yes, it's very
yes.
interesting. Here you have another example, how Aristotle was pictured in medieval chronics. So it is it has a robe and a wig and things that he never would have wore, but because the perception in the medieval time was absolutely different, those images were created. So to sum up, some key points to consider: visual culture studies recognizes the predominance of visual forms of media and communication. And it was developed, or let's say it saw a huge development over the last 10 or 20 years. We wouldn't have talked about this 20 years ago. And it merges popular and low cultural forms, media and communication. It's a melting pot. It mixes everything just to convey a message. And it intersects with the notion of media sphere in mediology. It's a very transdisciplinary topic. And it approach knowledge, the reality of living in a world of cross mediation. Our different experience of culturally meaningful visual content appears in multiple forms. So it may be interpreted like a linguistic message, because there is someone who is coding it and someone who is decoding it, but it doesn't go through, let's say, traditional way of writing down a message, but it goes through different pictures. And I will stop here. Okay. I had only one slide left about the purpose of doing that. It is to communicate. It is also for artistic purposes. It is very heavily used in politics. and it is, of course, very much used in media. But the point is that pictures surround us, and we really need to understand them and understand the message correctly in order to get the context right. Okay.
Thank you, Honorina, very much. I mean, we weren't expecting a
Yes.
lesson today on visual culture, but we appreciated it very much because you tried to show the essentials of what it means to read and contextualize images. As you correctly showed, I mean, it's also questions of knowledge and knowledge of the background to understand the different images in a world of images. You started with, you know, the past, the static images, then going to today and how they have been working on images of the past. The question is, this is for our students, the students present, how can you understand that it's reworking of an image of the past or a postmodern rewriting of the past if you don't know the image of the past? Mona Lisa, everyone knows Mona Lisa. Start with an example. We have a lot of advertisements in Italy using Mona Lisa. That they understand, but when you have pictures of the past that they don't understand, how are they going to trace the source text? So it's quite interesting from a cultural point of view that images always in some way are repeating the past.
Yes, and
Would you
that
agree
was
on that?
my point of showing Delacroix
Yes.
painting and then
Yes.
the modern replica, just to show this rooting and
Yeah.
connection.
Sure, sure.
And in order for us to not be anachronic,
Yes.
we need to
Yes. Sure.
gather a lot of knowledge and
Sure.
try to find out the source, because
Sure.
as
Sure.
people who work with language, we need to see the text, the source text, in order to understand correctly.
Yes. Honorina, I come from the field of cultural studies, and one book I'd like to quote for all the students, because I still remember the first time I read it. That is John Berger, Ways of Seeing, 1972, because in one chapter, you have only pictures, no words. So I recommend all the students, it has been translated in Italian, I don't know if in Romanian. It has one chapter, only pictures. And it's what we should be doing also for visual culture. That is, trying to understand what the image tells us before the words. We can put in the words, or else we don't understand visual culture.
Yes, and it's getting more and more important because of all of that advertising and because of all the political uses of pictures.
Absolutely.
This is also very important.
Absolutely.
It's very easy to manipulate people with different images when they don't understand correctly what the image stands for.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So, yes, it's quite an important issue.
We can always ask the students what they also saw in the Delacroix painting about the issue of women, for instance.
Yes.
How liberty is represented. What Delacroix thought was one thing, and what we think today is another.
Absolutely.
Anyone? Anyone? How is liberty represented?
as a half naked woman.
Sorry, we're having problems.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
No.
My connection isn't working very well. The liberty is represented as a woman.
Yes. And what else? Not only a woman. What else? Details, details, background and details.
With a flag, and she is also half naked.
Yes.
She's not.
That's right.
Shameless.
She's young, as advertisements will understand. Advertisements know that women must be young, beautiful, and half naked.
Yes, and half naked. And she is rising above all.
Yes, yes, come on.
Yes. Anyone else would like to share a comment on visual culture? Do you have a favorite meme that you relate to?
I would like to say that representation is often used also in movies. For example, in modern movies, we can see scenes which are replicas of famous paintings. And it's nice when you watch a movie and all of a sudden you recognize it because you know it or because it's clear. For example, I'm thinking about the movie Shutter Island. There is this image of the main character which hugs his wife, and the colors and the position remind us of a painting from Klimt, which is the hug. And I remember when I first watched it, I recognized it at first, and it was very effective.
It triggers memories and creates new associations and make you comfortable. You feel that you are connecting. You know something about it.
That's right.
Yes, exactly.
Great, thank you. I would put in the chat last time the link for that feedback image, takeaway word. Yes. We have 24 answers, but it would be great to get more.
More, yes, and, come on.
Yes, I would like to invite you, those who would like to share a picture with us, because it's our last meeting, to have a big family picture.
Yes. Yes.
Those who agree to do that, please open your camera. And those who don't, go to the chat, click the link, and give us
a word.
Takeaway word.
Yes, please. Allora, attivare il video, per favore, che facciamo un'ultima foto.
Hi.
Come on, come on, come on. Thank you, thank you. And please insert a word. Click on the link and insert a word for you which is meaningful. It is not linked to the person who is doing it.
And we
it's
need
anonymous.
Also voice for this picture.
We have no voice. We're going to make it
women.
Professoressa,
right.
Professoressa,
sì.
Io non posso attivare la fotocamera perché sto dal telefono, il computer si è rotto, però è come se ci fossi.
No, no problem. Come on, no problem. Come on. Those who can. Thank you.
Great.
Come on. I'm going to have some snapshots and put it on the website so that this happening, let's call it this happening, will not disappear. We are all part of it.
Yes, and it has been very challenging and interesting. And thank you very much for this experience.
Thank you, Honorina. Thank you and all the people in Bucharest who have worked with us.
So I will share last time your feedback.
Yes.
You could see we have 24 answers.
Mhm.
Thank you, 29 coming.
Like, come on, come on. Let's
And,
wait a moment. Oh,
the most used word is interesting. So
okay.
uh,
Okay.
we are very happy you found it interesting and
Yes.
challenging and inspiring and
Okay.
multicultural.
Let's see if we get something else.
Yes, and the answers are coming. It will be opened, so you can use it for half an hour. And then
Yes.
when the time's up, I will download it and share with you
Thank you.
the results.
Some students have asked in the past for some lectures, they would like to have the recording, if that would be possible.
I don't know. I'm going to check. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to check and then get
You'll
back.
get back to me.
Now,
Okay, thank you.
yes, you are recording it. We don't have any, so we can share our PowerPoints if.
All right, so then if then that would be possible if you could send it to the teachers and then we will.
Yes,
Then-
I'm going
yes.
to. I'm going to check. Okay, for the recording.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we can call it a day.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I hope to see you very soon for other jointly organized events. Stay safe.
Yes.
Get
All of
the
us.
vaccine when you can. And we will see each other soon.
Grazie. Thank you very much, Honorina, and thanks to all the students who have been very patient with all of us.
Yeah.
And I hope that they will treasure what we have tried to do together in this pandemic, and is sharing ideas, emotions, culture together in different languages. Thank you very much.
Thank
Grazie e arrivederci.